And click that off. We are live. Oh, wow. I completely forgot to put up, wait, where is it? There it is. Forgot to put that up.
Where am
Go
I?
figure. Welcome, everyone, to Gamers Against the System. This is episode 5. We are actually down in Kumori this week, so...
Fucked up background, man.
I know, it's so horrible. But it kind of relates to this week's topic, because we are talking about music today. And that's actually one of the more influential scenes that we are going to be talking about later on. Anyways, so I am your host, as always, Chase, the new two-back. And of course, next to me is that person, Richard Daku Cox. Wow, that just kind of rolls really well together, doesn't it? Richard Daku Cox. Dick Daku Cox. Yeah, something like
They
that.
say it in Japanese.
Yeah, so we are actually down Kumori. Unfortunately, his computer is not working correctly, and for some odd reason, his iPhone is not wanting to download Skype. And our special guest that we were supposed to have, who is Sly, aka Gray Fox, had an unfortunate accident. His motherboard is fried and will not be joining us. What?
Nothing.
Jesus. He will not be joining us today, unfortunately, so we are going to try and get him on another episode here in the near future. Please look forward to it. Hi. Anyways, before we really start the show, how's it going there, Daku?
It is bullshit because I tried hooking up my other monitor, which is LED and super nice, but doesn't have HDMI. And then my $2,000 laptop does not have VGA, which I found out after I spent 5 minutes looking for the power cord to the monitor. So I'm slightly disappointed, but other than that, pretty good. It's really hot in here.
Sorry. So I got my year one achievement on Destiny. I've beaten everything. I am done.
I still have to update my Xbox.
You slacker.
It's like an update every week. Every time I turn on my Xbox to play it, there's an update, and then I update it, and then I forget about it. And like a week later, I come back, it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to play it now. And then there's another update. So I never actually get to play the games.
Yeah, so Destiny, I'm going to be helping out a couple of people later on tonight, so I will be streaming that, finishing up their year one achievement. So I've gotten everything done on it now. I'm actually 2 trophies away from platinum, completely 100%ing the game.
Ooh.
Which is Flawless Raider and maxing out a Warlock, and that's really easy because my Warlock's 2 skills away from maxing out. And by 2 skills I mean one's like quarter of the way done and the other one's 3/4 of the way, or halfway done. So, or close to 3/4 of the way done, something like that. It's like one's really close, the other one's kind of almost there. So I'll be done here soon. So, like I said, this week's topic is all about that music in video games and anime.
About that bass. No trend. No? Okay.
No.
You said it's all about music, so
Because
that's music. For some people.
I know you lie. Your lips are moving. Actually, I kind of like Megan Trainor, to be honest. She's actually a decent singer.
Did you hear that she wasn't actually supposed to sing that song?
Yeah, I know.
For you people who don't know, she is actually showing people how to sing that song and dance. And they figured, what the hell, why are you teaching them? Just do it. And then she just sung and did the music video and everything herself, instead of showing everyone how to do it.
Alright, so first thing we're going to be talking about, and this is kind of a breakdown for you guys. First thing we're talking about is the main influence of this discussion, which is, why is music important in games and anime? What music is meant to do in scenes, and when is it just there for background? And of course, how does it affect people as a whole? So we're going to go ahead and go into that first topic. Why is music so important in video games and anime? And honestly, we are going to go with you, Daku, first. I want to hear your thoughts of why it's so important in video games.
I
and
think
music.
that's more of a subcategory. It's not why is it so important in, anime and video games. It's why is it so important in general. I mean, it's really a psychological thing. Music, beats, tones, vibrations, it all comes down to you listen to something, why does this make me feel happy? Listen to something else, why does this make me feel sad? I mean, really, it's a science in a way. And they want you to feel a certain scene. They want you to feel what that character is feeling, feel the aura of the situation. So when it comes down to, I don't know, like a death scene, it's got to be super sad. You have to have the right instruments, the right kind of vibrations, so you feel what's going on. It's not like reading a book. You read a book and you can feel it, assuming you understand the situation. They're projecting it on you. You're not just reading the story, listening to the characters talk. They're forcing that emotion upon you.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
I mean, I completely agree with you on that. I mean, I'm narrowing it down to just the anime and games, but yeah, generalized, music is a very important thing. Was it was the old catchphrase? I can't even remember it right now. Music soothes even the savage beast.
something like that, yeah.
Something like along those lines. But it's the point of that um, is it's always about how the music is interpreted in situations, and I think it's a very strong point, especially in anime, video games, even movies. Is a very strong point. It gives you a sense of what's going on there without you actually having to visually see it. You hear it and you go, I know what my mood needs to be. And it's a subconscious thing. It really is. I mean, you can't just sit there and... I mean, you can blare battle music during a really sad scene and the entire context is lost. But when you have it in the proper context, proper scene, everything like that, it kind of gives the scene more meaning, which kind of goes into the next part of this is, what is music? When is music? I don't know why I said what. When is music meant to? What is music meant to do in scenes? And when is it just music? And in this sense, I mean, you look at the background. I mean, it's a messed up background, but that's a prime example how it works.
Explain it for the people who don't know what that is.
We're going to actually explain more of that one here in a little bit. I'm going to go on a different context of it, of where it is. So when music is supposed to be moving or give you emotion during the scene, they change that style of scene, or they change the music to fit the scene. So you take something like Phantom of the Opera. Certain points of it, I mean, it's an opera in itself, but the music in certain points, you get the emotion, you get that sense of, I should be feeling for this character, I should be feeling for this character. I think, it's that think and that feel. But you go into video games, you have a lot of music that's supposed to be for scenes, and then you get those scenes where it's, I mean, Final Fantasy VII, just for the background's sake, you have battle. The entire thing is you don't need music during the battle scene. You just know, oh, I'm in a fight, hit buttons, okay, fight's over, let's continue on. The music's there just to kind of keep your interest there, just to bring up that kind of adrenaline going, okay, let's fight.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the... what's a good way to put it? Without music, it could be interpreted in many, many different ways. It's kind of like how people are always texting, and it's like, oh, are you angry at me? No, it's not what I meant. You don't know the context, you don't know the tone of the voice. When some, like, let's just imagine some random animation Guy walks up to another guy, stabs him in the chest. There's something that just came to your mind about whether it was sad, funny, happy, what just happened. It could have been comical. It could have been like, ow, that hurt. Or it could have been like, oh my god, no, he killed the boss or the leader or something. It's you don't have context. Somebody's going to make it up automatically in their mind. Or for the non-creative, they're just going to be confused and ignore it. But if you add epic music to it, or sad music, or some kind of comedy thing, you'll understand the situation and what's going on.
Yeah, and it just brings it down. It's just the context. It's how you bring that context into light. Music really is. I hate saying it, but music kind of takes precedence in all video games. It's the biggest drive for me. It really is, and of course, we're going into this of how it affects people. I honestly, there's games I've played, like I love the games, but I lose interest in them. The music's kind of bland, it's kind of there. I mean, Destiny's really a good example. There's a lot of points where it's like, you're walking around the world and there's no sound except for the sound of gunfire, and you're like, I mean, and it's true in Call of Duty. You sit there, you walk around, you're like, okay. You lose interest in it. For me, I lose interest in it, and then it gets to that point where something epic's happening, some battle's going on. I feel, they bring out that good music, and I start feeling energized, going, okay, I can do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. But when there's nothing there, I'm kind of like, okay, that's whatever. Someone. And what about you, Daku?
I mean, as far as like good examples, Destiny. I mean, I wonder if they should have some sort of good aura background, depending on where you are. Something that matches the aura of the moon or of the earth, or if it should be dead quiet because that's the situation. There's nothing there. There's no one there. Everyone's dead. And then obviously, when you get into a fight, yes, there's going to be music. I mean, real life situation. If it were a movie, that would make sense to have it that way. But as far as replayability, not having an aura of music in the background is going to kind of kill it.
And that's the hardest part about video games, in this sense, is no aura. You just kind of no ambience. You lose interest in that. With anime and this is that entire opposite side of it. With anime, if there's no ambient song in the background, if there's no subtle song in the background for the very kind of subtle scenes, the very normal talking scenes, I'm okay with, because I'm used to it. I'm like, okay, blah, blah, blah. When something's happening and this, music starts blaring up, I'm sitting there going, oh, okay, something's happening, something's going on. What the hell? And I mean, and anime falls in with movies and anime fall in together with how that works. You have to judge it correctly, especially in games. It's the hardest part is, when is it okay to have really good ambience, and when do you need it to not have ambience, and really pit it to the player that something may be happening soon, and when is it just dead air. I hate that concept of, when I'm playing Destiny, I'm like walking around Earth going, oh, let me just shoot this, guys, let me shoot this.
Yeah, and sometimes they'll get it wrong or right, or they do it on purpose. For example, during a very serious talk scene in an anime, for example, they'll have like birds chirping and stuff. It's like, get that shit out of here. So you're trying to focus on the seriousness of the situation, yet you have nature around you that kind of ruins the mood. And then other times in anime, you have like a super epic fight song as a character eats a bowl of cereal. I mean, it's aggressively eating, but it's funny. It's supposed to be more comedic than anything else, which is why a lot of people don't understand. That's why some people can't get into anime, because it's just not. It's not normal. It's not the average thing.
Yeah, I completely agree on that. It's not, and it's really. I mean, be honest. There's some animes I sit there and I start watching. I'm like, I'm just gonna turn this off. I'm gonna go watch something else because it comes down to some of the animes. I'm like, why am I even watching this? Now, of course, there are some animes I'm like, why am I watching this and continue watching it because I'm so fucking enthralled by it.
Yeah.
Thanks to Mana Mistress, who's in our chat right now. Uh, she introduced me to Bash to Death Angel, which is the most over the top funny anime I've seen ever.
What's
But
it called?
Bash to Death Angel, Dokura.
Bash to Death.
Yeah, look it up. It is kind of. Let's put it this way: the first first minute or so sets the tone for the anime. It's like
Oh, you mean
12.
Club to Death Angel? Okay.
Yeah, it's got some. I think, yeah, the English release is Club to Death, but
Bash to Death, and all I got was like Hell's Angels killed at an airport. I was like, what the fuck?
interesting. Okay, that's a new thing.
Character.
I mean, it's a good anime. I like it. I enjoy it. It's very good. Let's go ahead and go into the next topic, and that next topic is our top 5 songs, what they mean to us and everything. And I'll go ahead and start this one real quick with the number 5. We'll just go 5 5 4 4 3 3 2 2 1 1.
Well, you just start, and I'll
Yeah.
go through them all with you. And every time when you're done talking, I'll give you my opinion on it.
No problem. So my first one is actually, and it's because of the hype for me, is the Persona 5 opening song that they're going to do. And the reason being is because every single time they've trailered a Persona game, they've always had that opening theme there, and it's been very what's the best way of putting it? It kind of sets the mood for the game heading forward. Yeah, they sound happy-go-lucky, but when you actually listen to it and everything, it kind of sets the mood, kind of tells you what may be happening more often in that game, how it's going to progress. And not only am I hyped about the game and waiting for it to come out, which probably means it won't come out till next year, the music just in general, usually when they have any Persona music, I adore. I mean, I adore Lotus Juice, who does a lot of the Persona music. This one wasn't done by him, but it's setting a tone for me and making me go, okay, I understand that there's going to be a lot of joking like normal, but there's going to be a serious undertone in how the personas work and how things are going to happen in this game, but it's not alluding to enough to spoil anything really. And Doctor lost his list. Don't mind the cat.
To be fair, I don't have much of a list. Because somebody wasn't very specific.
I put it down.
Well, you put your list down. You didn't tell me to make one. There we go.
I guess, yeah. I'm reading them. Like, I forgot a few keywords. Anyways.
Well, I'll just go off of what I have, and then we'll go from there. It's really hard to pick a song on some of these. In general, I'll start with Kill la Kill. And this is my next anime, which we'll get to. I really think the music is what got people addicted to it, and not just the storyline. I mean, anybody can make a good storyline in general. But you have to have 3 things. You have to have the good story, good animation, and good music. If one of those things is lacking, you're not going to be popular at all. Kill la Kill has all three. It is extremely weird, which is probably why some people aren't as into it. But two of the songs, which tend to be played together all the time, so I just picked them both, are called Blumenkranz and Don't Lose Your Way. Um, the Blumenkranz one is it's really interesting and slow, and then it keeps changing your emotions. It's not sad, but it's kind of like an evil person's theme. Just in general, the way the music is played. And then it gets fast and angry, and then it's not. And then it's epic, and then it's back to the angry again. It just keeps jumping up and down. And during that, usually something bad's happening to the protagonist. But after that, or right before that, or during, it goes back and forth. They'll play "Don't Lose Your Way," which pretty much the song is exactly that. It's what it's singing in the song. I'm gonna throw out some spoilers here, so close your ears, peoples. In the anime,
spoilers are good.
In the anime, throughout the entire anime, the main character is basically trying not to lose her way. The whole thing is she's trying to go find who killed her dad and find the other half of her scissor blade. She basically has one half of a pair, one half of a pair of scissors, and it's actually almost like a sword. She's looking for the other half because supposedly whoever killed her father has the other half. And the whole anime, eventually at some point, she actually gets lost. Not physically, but mentally, with her goals and what she was actually trying to do. So, this is what you're trying to do. Why are you getting sidetracked with bad things? Because eventually she, huge spoiler, finds out that she's actually not entirely human. And then she loses her shit and she's getting distracted. Now she doesn't care about anything. Don't Lose Your Way would be a perfect way to explain what was happening in her situation. And she eventually snapped back. Somebody probably sung this song to her. And she actually was like, okay, I need to do this. I'm fine. No, I'm not 100% human. Who gives a shit? I'm still going to find who killed my dad. I'm going to find that other piece of the scissor blade. She eventually gets back to it, and it's a really emotional song during the fights, and I think that's very important in anime. One of the reason, and I strongly believe this, one of the reasons some people don't like anime is because they aren't in touch with their emotions. Anime brings out a lot of emotions in people. It's supposed to get you addicted that way, using your emotions against you in a way, which is messed up, but you like it anyways because you do it. But people who don't really care about emotions, who are afraid of their emotions, tend not to watch anime. Not just because of the weird stuff, they just don't want to be manipulated. And it's true, people, you read an anime, you watch an anime, you feel sad, you feel happy, you're angry, you're into it. Sometimes you yell at the screen when you find out something happens. It's like video games.
Yeah, it is. It really is. I'm getting kind of feedback from that. Wow, yeah, I can hear myself. There we go. I'm good.
You good?
Yeah, I was hearing myself through your computer for some odd reason.
So I was gonna say I didn't move anything.
It was weird. It was like I could hear it. Anyways, I'm gonna skip my number 4 only because it's part of the list, and I'll bring it up that it's my number 4 when we get to that 5 list that I wrote down for us. The next one I have, and I'm gonna play the song. I'm just gonna turn down the music a little bit on it. Is I'm just gonna start playing it a little bit, talk a little bit about it, and it's Sonic 06. It's Solaris Part 2, which is the second half of the fight. I'm just gonna play it a little bit. Alright, cut it out there. And the reason being is it's the main theme for the game. But furthermore, it kind of sets the tone of how epic everything is, the scale of everything. Now, granted, a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people hate Sonic 06.
A lot of people hate Sonic in general.
That's true.
They liked like the first two games, and then they got annoyed with it.
But for the Solaris part, for that second phase, for having that music going, you feel like, okay, this is it. This is the end. This is where everything changes. This is where we stop everything from happening. All the bad that was part of '06 from happening, and we can finish it off and make everything work fine. Um, in the context for anime, it's kind of like what happens with Cell in the Cell Saga, the Android Saga and the Cell Saga. Trunks comes back, blah blah. This not this. Solaris is kind of Cell in that sense, but it's for me. It's always been one of the more epic sounding songs for me, and it's always been really really touching because you understand when you've played through that game, and like when you hear the opening for it, you kind of go, okay, something's gonna happen because of how it sounds, and you're like, okay, something's gonna happen. I'm going to have to understand something's going to happen. Or at that part with Solaris, it's okay. I get this. I know what's going on. I have to defeat this. I have to beat this thing. So, and it really kind of gets the blood pumping. It kind of gets that emotion of, no, I don't want this to end in a bad way. I need to beat this boss. I need to beat Solaris. Okay, headphones in finally.
I tried, but it's not working. Well, I was gonna use these, but I can't hear the music you're playing because you're playing it on the stream.
Yeah, so you're not going to hear it at all.
So I can't really give my comment on it. So I was gonna try to listen to it when you played it, but I can't actually do so.
Pull up Live and Learn. Sonic Adventure 2 Live and Learn, because that will be the next song I'm talking about. See if you can get that one before we go on with everything.
I was going to say, when we do these songs, which I totally forgot, we should post links to the songs in there.
Yeah, I completely spaced doing that too. I really did. Oh. Do you have another song after that for you?
I want to play this real quick through my speakers, and I want you to tell me how it sounds. It's going to be a test.
All right, sounds good.
And it's going to be loud on purpose.
Okay.
So I'm going to switch this. Didn't really come up with anything on here. There you go. May take like 30 seconds or so.
Okay. That doesn't sound too good.
What was that?
I said that doesn't sound too good. Just like I can hear it, but it's kind of, yeah, it sounds very rusted and doesn't sound good.
Let's try this then. I sound different now, right?
You sound normal still.
One more time.
Sounds better.
This is supposed to be taking in the sound from everything. So we move it forward a little bit. This is the Don't Lose Your Way. If I can get this to sound perfect, I can just play the song.
That sounds a lot better on that one.
You're ready to fight, look over there. They try to kill us for stars.
There we
A
go.
bomb has that much stronger than before. Don't lose your way. Your life we have
Sounds like a good song.
Quite a good song. Very aggressive emotionally, too. So, I mean, in general, that was So I'll just play all my songs like that if I can find good ones.
Alright.
Because I have a very good one. I need to find a good example for the next one, but
It sounds good.
I'm
So,
going to use your idea to look for the songs every time you play. Just give me the title.
yeah, it's Live and Learn is the second one. So, what's the thing about that song right there? Was that the song you were talking about beforehand, or is that a different
That
song?
was the Don't Lose Your Way. I can play the Blooming Crons one too if you want, but it goes from the like angry whatever to epic. You know, it's just in your face all of a sudden. It's aggressive, but in a good way. It's kind of like an aggressive driver. You think that's bad, but usually that means you're paying attention, you're doing good, and trying not to cause crashes.
Yeah.
It's being aggressive towards your goals. And for a lot of people who are in general are lost in life, I mean, just emotional as a person, getting super deep here. This song is really good for you. You listen to this and it'll actually make you happy. Which is great for people who are in touch with their emotions because they can change their mood that easily. All they have to do is listen to something that has that effect.
Yeah. No, I completely understand, and that sounds great. So. Alright. So the next song I'm going to talk about, and let's go ahead and pull that up real quick. Sonic. I mean, who hasn't heard? There's a lot of people who have heard this song. But, I mean, let me go ahead and, let's go back to the beginning. Play that out a little bit.
Can you feel life moving through your mind? Ooh, looks like it came back for more. Yeah. Can you feel time slipping down your spine? Ooh, you're trying to ignore. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was Sonic Live and Learn. And there's a reason why this is. I have a lot of Sonic on here because I've been a Sonic fan for forever. But the entire point for this song is it's again just kind of like how Solaris is. It sets the mood for the entire game, but with the addition of Shadow and Sonic in that game, it kind of tells a little bit more of what Sonic is dealing with the chaos control and what Shadow is going through with the fact that he has no clue what's going on for the longest time in that entire game. He has no memories. He's so lost. Where Sonic he's learning how this new power, how to control it and how it works correctly, and how not to abuse it. And it's part of that song all over in general. It's a really good song. So I've always thought that it's always been a good song to me, and not only have I always liked that song, but it really does set a mood for the game in general and everything.
It almost seems like a comeback song. You had some epic music, and the protagonist is getting defeated, and then once he pulls his ultimate card or he starts winning, all of a sudden, that's kind of what it sounds like.
It really is, but if you listen to the lyrics are talking about the characters themselves without mentioning the characters, which is, I mean, it's weird in general when you do something like that, but it's supposed to be that way, and I thoroughly enjoy it for being that way. You look like you're contemplating something.
I'm just searching.
You're searching? What are you searching for?
That was a good one. Here we go.
Give me a second as I'm just typing something. You got it?
Yep.
Alright.
I actually got a few, which will play a little bit of each.
Alright, play those. I'm going to take a quick break.
These ones are going to be for fairy tale in general. I think one of the reasons fairy tale got so popular is not just because of the storyline, but because of the interesting instruments they use to make their music. One of those things is pull the instruments they use include, but aren't limited to, a drum, violin, piano, an eru, which is a Japanese instrument, bagpipes, a tin whistle, and a choir in general. A lot of those a lot of those instruments are not used in your average song, yet they seem to be able to use it with virtually all of them, especially the epic, fast ones, the happy songs. So let's take about 30 seconds from each one of those. I'll start with this beginning one, and we'll go from there. Come on, Lou. I believe in you.
I'm back.
Welcome back. You got here just in time to wait for the stupid thing to start loading.
Don't you just love that? Good
Here we
old old times.
Let's try this one more time.
Alright.
I'm going to play about a 30-second clip from each one. So this is the main theme for fairy tale in general. I mean, as I was mentioning while you were gone, I think one of the reasons fairy tale is really more popular is they use a very interesting mix of instruments that most people don't.
Well, to me, the intro for fairy tale has always sounded more Gaelic in a sense. So it's all about that, you know.
Yeah. The instruments used are a drum, a violin, piano, eru, which is a Japanese instrument, bagpipes, a tin whistle, and choir in general. So that's not something you see in your everyday band. And then, of course, there's always, fairy tale always sounds upbeat, but there are the emotional parts. Fairy tale does try to get you to cry a lot throughout the series.
It does. I don't...
This is a sad part. And I think a lot of this music in general almost reminds me of Final Fantasy as far as some of the instruments go. One of these would also be this one, which is a slightly more happy version to end off on. I think it's great how they take the exact same instruments, and just by playing it slightly different, they can totally change the mood upside down. It's super depressing, or it's super happy, very neutral, or it's very aggressive. But it's the exact same instrument.
Yeah. Well, and that's a lot of Celtic music in general. You can do that with it. I mean, and don't get me wrong, Fairy Tail is a great anime, but yeah, their use of when they use their music is actually really good, and it, to me, honestly, it's really is a very diverse anime in how it works. I mean, yeah, it's a lot. There's some fan service. There's a lot of comedy in it, but how they do it, it's done very well. So.
It's always put in at the right times too. I
Yeah.
mean, you can have amazing songs, but if you don't time it right, then it's not going to work.
I know it's not. All right, so my last song that we're going to talk about before we go into our top 5 that we're really going to talk about it's called Alexander. The song's name is Metal. It's from Final Fantasy XIV. It's the original soundtrack to Alexander, the new raid. And you can't really make out the music or the lyrics very well with it, but there is context to the lyrics, and you guys will hear it. Alright, and then let me see if I can find the chorus to it.
Sounds like a I'm a Badass song.
It is. Alright, there we go. And that's pretty much, I mean, the lyrics to the song are really good, but there's, can't really do much with it with how it is. Let me pull up the lyrics so people actually know what the lyrics say. A little. That is not.
I believe in you. Occasionally, depending on the day. How much beer to drink, etc.
I'm on beer 3. It's talking about the goblins and their entire endeavors within Alexander. The lyrics start off with stamp, clink, 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 whiz, whirl, whiz, and boom. Wheels housing up and land a doom. Crash, thoom, snap, bang, bang, bam, bing, bang, and zoom. A nears soon fallen crimson tomb. Stomp busy hills of the wicked. The hills.
You sound really fuzzy.
Sorry. The hills top. The runes top deflate. No busy deals for the wicked. Too late. Far too late. Far too late. And the
Ain't no rest for the wicked.
yeah. So the chorus is, and they have it wrong because it says Alexander on this, and then get out. But what the lyrics are is wake the metal, and it's go gobby boom doom, or gobby doom boom, create the metal, gobby doom or boom doom, Control the middle, Gabi boom, or doom boom. Control or uphold the middle, then control the middle, and it's Gabi boom doom, Gabi doom boom are the people yelling. The second part of the course is, of course,
You sound like you're a goblin.
Yeah, it's wake the metal, and what people thought was get out, but it's metal. It's wake the metal, metal, uphold the metal, metal. And it could be easily because of how many tabs I have open, to be honest, and all else I'm doing. But it really sets the tone. I mean, all of Alexander sets the tone for how it works and what you're dealing with within Alexander. You look like you're contemplating.
Maybe.
What's got on your mind? Trying to figure something out?
Hopefully not blood, because then I may die. But I forgot what it was called. Some kind of cancer. I don't remember. I just have a couple songs ready, just in case you need more.
Well, if you have one more, let's go ahead and talk about that before we hop into the main fight we were going to talk about anyways.
Well, let's see. I think let's undo this. The things that happens to be popular, but people don't seem to understand, is what people call epic music. Everybody has their own definition of it, but when it comes down to it's fast, it's moving, it's hardcore, it's not exactly. It's just supposed to be epic. It's supposed to be on another level. That's what epic music is. And most of it seems to be a lot of choir-based. And when you hear music like this, you tend to think otherworldly, ungodly, end of the world kind of things. Here's one which may be a little bit hard to hear at first, but this is going to be this theme from Naruto. And I don't know what it is about that music, the way it's sung, but this is the exact same kind of way they sing the Halo theme. When they're doing the epic sing, not with the guitars and stuff, but just during a basic, generic theme or a cinematic. It's the singing that's just like that, brings it to a whole nother level. And I've got two more like that we can do later after we go through the list.
Yeah.
But it's awesome because like if you're into a game, you're into an anime, and you're playing through and like you fight hard bosses and stuff. This music starts playing, you're like, oh wow, I'm fucked. Well, like it's either I hope to God they're on my side, or if it's like this is the boss and you have music that starts playing like that, you're like, I don't want to play anymore because you're about to get your ass kicked.
Yeah, that's usually what it comes out. And I can hear my voice through you again.
There you go. I just did it.
All right, cool. Thanks. No, I can still hear it.
How come you can always hear your voice?
I don't know. I just can. All right, I'm good. I'm good here. I can hear. I don't hear it now.
It's always on your side. Like, I never hear anything here. It's just you.
Yeah, I can hear it in my headphones. So, and of
Oh.
course, if I hear it in my headphones, then everyone else can hear it. So let's go ahead and go into this our wind down part. Our wind down point of this entire endeavor. We have 5 songs that I really wanted to touch base on and kind of how they impacted certain scenes or how they impacted an anime or a game. And the first one we're going to talk about is background. Final Fantasy VII's Aerith's death, or Eris's death, or however you want to fucking say it. I grew up with her as Eris, but everyone calls her Aerith because that's what was supposed to be. I don't care anymore. The biggest part about this is you know something's happening, you hear Sephiroth's theme going on, the loud, the bells ringing, and the heartbeat type thing, and you know something's happening, and you see the cutscene of him coming down, and right before the blow is struck, or right as the blow is struck, it goes into Aerith's theme, which is this very mellow, very...
More like the theme came out of her.
Thanks. But it's very mellow, it's a very dramatic song in how it is played. And especially at this point, and the fact that it persists on not only through her death, but the fight that comes up after that, it kind of gives more meaning to the entire fact of this character that you just spent time with, that you were growing to learn, growing to kind of love. You started learning more about them. You knew more about them. And out of nowhere, they're dead. Sword goes through their... Well, sword goes through their stomach in this thing. I hope they fix in the remake, but it goes through them, and the man who you've been chasing after is the one who's responsible for killing the person, and doesn't even blink. Just, okay, I just killed her. Fuck you. And walks away. Leaves part of Genova, and you're stuck in a fight. And this music's persisting. It's always been a very touching, but yet very dramatic scene throughout everything. And I mean, I know a lot of our viewers have heard Aerith's theme. A lot of them have even played Final Fantasy VII. You got a lot of people understand the concept of this. I mean, I remember when this happened in the game for me, because I was playing it. I was pissed. I was mad. I felt at that moment I had this emotional connection of going, what the hell? Now I have to beat this person. Now it's not just we need to stop him. It's no, he needs to die. And that's kind of what the music with the scene kind of brought that out of. He has to die in this sense.
Yeah, I watched the video that you sent me, which I shall post for other people to view. I went through it. It was really annoying as far as the music change. It was an old game, so I understand. It was like they attached a track to another track, and it just switched onto another song. There was no, like, fade or altercation. I did like, though, like you were saying, how the music to the team, wasn't just like, oh, she's dead, oh, now you're gonna fight someone, yay. It was, she's dead, and we want you to remember this and know that she's dead as you're still fighting as the other guy, this other boss. It's making you hang on that thought, hang on to that emotion or that feeling. If you were to change the music at that point, you'd totally ruin the moment. You'd just get rid of that feeling. You'd be like, okay, who cares?
Yeah, and I think that's what is a huge point to that scene. And going into the next part, and we're speeding along just because we don't have too much time left, guys. But going into the next part, and this is my number 4 song that I put on my list. And that's, the song is called Leaving Earth. And that's the actual name of the song. It is from Mass Effect 3's soundtrack. Go ahead and post the link if you want to. It is a very... When you go through the entire scene, it's the part of the opening scene of the game. And you go through this, and you encounter a boy. You try and save him. He runs away from you. You gotta fight some stuff off. You get to an extraction point. You're fighting. You're trying to get out. You get out. Your best friend and the captain from the first game is sitting there talking to you, and he's like, "No, I gotta say, I got my own ride. You need to go. You need to amass an army. I'll be here. We'll be fighting. We'll be waiting for you." As you're taking off, you see the boy, and the boy enters a ship, and of course the Reapers are coming now, and things are.
Before we get into this part, there's some sad kind of music playing.
Yeah. The music starts playing right as you're taking off. So you see the boy. Let me actually go ahead and pull it up. So Control click. There we go. Let me pull up this, get past that. He's talking. There we go. Actually, let me...
Well, the thing is, during the scene, you see him getting into the ship, and you're like, "Oh, cool, he's going to be safe."
Yeah.
And then the giant,
the Reapers, and
next to him, you see the red thing start glowing, and then there's that horn that's playing. So
yeah,
the sad music, it's still there, but then it's like, oh no, you hear that, and it's almost like an alarm, but it's still sad at the same time. Like it's pushing your emotions up and down.
And I mean, you see this Reaper coming up, and the music's playing. You hear the horn, and you're like, "Oh God, what's going on?" The kid gets in the ship, and he looks at Shepard. The ship's door closes. They take off, and then death. You just watch it just take out both.
Yeah,
there's 2 evacuation ships, and they both die.
Takes them both out of the sky, and I love because when they played the horn at the beginning as he's still getting onto the ship, you're like, oh no, like you know it's gonna happen. Like they're making you have that bad feeling, like oh shit, something bad's gonna happen. And then it does, and then you're just like, oh, and it's better than just having the emotion there. They're preparing you for it.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's just the thing for me is it really is. I've put this on my iPod. I've listened to the song. I've just had it playing, and that song comes up, and just because of the context of the scene and that song in general, every time I hear it, I see it. I see what's going on. I see what's happening, and it's heart-wrenching. I mean, I get people, they're like, well, what's the kid supposed to mean to Shepard and blah, blah, blah. It's a person he couldn't save. It's that. And it's such a high context of what's going on. He feels that he fails. And that's why there's the ghosting thing of the kid popping up as a ghost throughout everything in his dreams and whatnot, and as the creator and whatnot. It's his remorse, it's his regret is what manifests, and he sees it as the kid, and being that he could have saved the kid if he had reached out, if he had helped the kid out of the air duct and brought the kid with him onto the Normandy, the kid would have survived. But he didn't do that. He couldn't help the kid. He couldn't help those people. So it's a regret. It's a remorse for him. I mean, that's what really kind of sets that tone. It really gets you going, oh, it's a no-win situation. Something, it's so bad that you can win, but how? How do you win? How do you deal with that?
In a way, as the player of the game, it almost motivates you to, this is why I've got to do it. It's not just, okay, well, here's the campaign, here's the starting. It's explaining to you, this is why you need to do what you need to do in the game. There's even though you're not the character, you have other motivations for playing the game other than just beating it. You
Yeah.
have to be attached to the character, and that's one way they did it.
Yeah, and it sets the tone, and it's a good way to set the tone, and I really enjoyed how they did that. Um, and I mean, and that falls along with how its theme works. Is it's very in the sense of it's persisting. It even after the fact that you watch the two ships go or go down, get destroyed, it persists to him leaving Earth. You see the Normandy leave Earth, and it continues on its path. It's not like, oh, it happened, they leave, and we change the music. No, they continue to keep that music going to make you understand and make you feel and go, oh, this really is happening. This is kind of really what the game's going to be about, and it's a persistent thing, and it's a constant reminder. Anytime you hear that song after you've played the game, you're like, and you're still playing the game, you're like, I have to do this. I have to beat this. So let's go ahead and go into the next song that we're mainly going to, or one of the major songs, and this goes more into the anime. The next two are really more anime related, but it's Bleach. It's Ichigo's theme, and Ichigo's theme is called Number One, and honestly, it's kind of funny because it follows the typical anime thing of you hear that song.
I'm number one.
Yeah, you hear the song and you're like, oh, the good guy's going to win. But they don't abuse it. I mean, really, in the first season they abused it, but later on in the series they toned it back to where it really is that epic. He's going to win. He's that guy. He can do this. And I mean, there's only one time in the entire series I remember watching it with two of my friends. We're watching and song pops up. We're like, oh, that guy's screwed. Ichigo's music's playing, blah blah blah, and the guy just
When I was,
fucking bitch slaps
I may
him.
or may not have noticed it during the series because I did watch virtually all of it. Once the singing started, I lost the groove. I was just out of the song. And as a YouTube commentator explained, or mentioned, I will say,
I want to hear this because it's probably going to be hilarious and probably true.
it's on the video you showed me. As soon as they started singing, I got the same feeling. You said Ichigo is a strong, independent black woman who don't need no man. And then right as it was just weird. It wasn't like any epic music. It was like a black choir just like snapping back and forth. That's all I could imagine. You know, maybe like when you're watching it and listening to it, you either don't notice or it just blends in. But if you just listen to the song, I just see, you know, Ichigo standing at the front of like 5 singers, 4 in the back. They're just like, just like singing the whole time. I was like, what the fuck?
And yeah, it's true. If you listen to the song just generally, you're just like, oh, this is about a black woman, a strong black woman, blah blah. When you're watching the anime, you're like, okay, this is kind of epic, blah blah. But when you actually listen to it and you understand it's a black woman singing, and she's a really good singer, and I actually like the singer herself. But you watch that and you hear the song and you're like, and you have that in the back of your mind. You kind of just have that sense of, is Ichigo actually black?
In his soul, maybe. It's soul music. There we go. Got it.
Soul Reaper, soul music. Yeah, same difference. But I mean, it's one of those songs that in anime you knew. That song came on, you're like, oh, you're fucked. His theme song's playing. You're fucked. You don't stand a chance. And literally, there's only one point in the series I remember that he does that, and the bad guy just bitch slaps him, and the music stops. You're like, You're expecting that record on like random stop that of the record stopping and going, oh, I guess we didn't mean to play that song right there. But it's an epic song in that sense that it's a main character's theme song. You understand, it's playing. Shit's going down. Someone's going to be hurting at the end of this. Never mention the fact that, Ichigo has to have a tumor because every time he takes a hit to the face, it's like, oh look, I'm bleeding from the head. Profusely.
He likes it.
Yeah, seriously. The other anime that we're going to talk about for the songs, and it really kind of got me into the anime, but the anime itself, after episode 6, I was kind of done with it, was Attack on Titans season 1 opening, the OST for the first 12 episodes. And honestly, you really can't deny how amazing that song sounds and how it makes you want to watch the anime. Because you hear that, that start, you're like, oh my god, what's this anime about? I gotta watch it. I have to watch it. This is so epic. This is so awesome. And it really was. The first 6 episodes, I was enthralled by it. I loved every episode of it. Once episode 7 hits, I'm just like, and you lost me.
I loved the whole thing. I was totally into it.
I liked the series. I started watching the manga. I started reading the manga. And I was sitting there, I'm like, the manga is still, like, the story overall, the general story is kind of convoluted. It doesn't work for the series in the end. I felt like, don't get me wrong, the opening, I'm like, I hear that opening, I'm like, oh my god, that opening's awesome. Then I remember after episode 7, I'm like, and I lost all interest.
That's why some animes can't make it and some can. I mean, without its opening and its music, it may not have gotten as popular.
Yeah, well, and I won't deny that it does have a good popularity, and it does have a decent story when you look at it and how everything works. But to me, I'm looking at the deeper plot, and the deeper plot is we done fucked up, and we're paying for all the fuck ups we did. That's really what the plot, the deep plot of the entire series is humans dealing with the fact that we fucked up so badly that we fucked ourselves. Whether the Titans were created by a higher being or not, or if we create the Titans and we are the Titans, that's just how it goes. It's what really kind of killed it for me. I liked the entire thing on the entire Eren Yeager being a Titan. Again, we created the Titans. It kind of killed it for me. I like the entire thing of humanity struggling against beings that were out of our league, and we had to rely on our survivability to fight them. I like that about it, but I didn't like how they just kind of sat there and were like, well, how do the humans combat other Titans? Well, there's another Titan that helps them out, who's also human, and fuck. That's the thing that killed it for me. That's the only thing that killed it for me.
It's been interesting enough for me. I mean, there's a lot of things that need to attach you to an anime. And think of this physically. There's anything you can think of. Things that would attach me to Attack on Titan. Physically, keep me tethered there so I keep watching it. Music, storyline, but storyline's not always that great. That's not always the thing that keeps you attached. You may not care about the story.
Yeah.
There could be the characters in general, their background stories, the relationships with other characters, wanting two people to get together. There could be girls watching anime, don't give a shit about the storyline. They just want to watch two characters kiss, that's it. That'd be the only reason. But that's one of the tethers that keep you there. And I thought it was interesting, let me post this for you. It really makes you want to do something when you listen to the song in the beginning. And the song, if you listen to the English lyrics, it's actually quite literal. I'll try to read it quickly. The beginning, it says, "Our names won't be remembered if we die like trampled flowers. I refuse to be forgotten, written off as less than worthless. Scream and cry, but no one will hear you. Plead and beg, but none will help you. You no longer live as cattle. Will you rise and join the battle? There are beings that live off fears, and their words are like knives. They play with our lives. They'll try to control you as if they own you. Will you let them steal your freedom? Channel the anger swelling inside you, fighting the boundary till you break through. Deep in your soul, there's no hesitation, so make yourself the one they all fear. There's a wildfire inside you, burning desire you can't extinguish. Your crimson arrow rips through the twilight. This is the moment for war." This literally is like a hardcore battle cry rally of troops. That's all the song is.
And it is, and
listen to
I
that song.
thoroughly enjoy it. I thoroughly
Yeah.
enjoyed that song, and I thoroughly enjoyed the fact that it got me into the anime, and it made me go, okay, why is everyone so infatuated? Why is this anime so good? And I watched it. Unfortunately for me, on that aspect, I don't see it as good of an anime as other people see it, because I don't feel that it works for me. I understand. Like, the author even said he was bullied and as a kid and everything, and part of it comes from the repressed memories of being bullied, and he portrayed it on to paper. He made it into the manga. So the Titans, in that sense, are his bullies. Eren Yeager is his inner strength fighting against the bullies, something he didn't have when he was growing up. And I understand that, and I think that's a great way of saying
it's more
you
of a
have to
tough
stand up.
group.
You have to stand up for yourself.
The entire first season, actually.
Well, yeah, but that's
Because if you go off of it, everybody's, and again, spoilers, everybody is a total pussy when it comes to Titans.
it is, and
And it's throughout, like every episode, almost, there's someone who's a pussy, and someone has to convince them to fight.
But, and again, it's the entire thing of, it's how he felt as a child. He was bullied as a child, but he didn't have the strength. No one told him to stand up against this. And he learned that later on, that he should have stood up for it. So he's portraying it through his art, through the anime, through the manga. And I think that's a great way of teaching people. It doesn't matter if they're bigger than you. It doesn't matter what... they could fight better than you, yeah. You stand up to a bully, 9 times out of 10, the bully's going to back down. It's only the 1% that the bully's going to pick the fight and actually hit you. If that's the case, let them hit you. Try not to cry. It's the hardest part. You get hit, it's going to hurt. You stand up for yourself. You stand up for yourself, they're going to leave you alone. Granted, they're going to go pick on someone else. But then that's when you become that strength. And that's what I liked about the series is we're getting beaten down. We need to stand up for ourselves. And constantly making people understand we have to stand together. We have to defend ourselves. We have to be stronger internally. Yeah, it's going to hurt. It's going to suck. Things are going to happen and you're going to hate your life sometimes. But if you stand strong, if you are strong in yourself, you can overcome any obstacle, especially bullying. I mean, bullying's still like one of the biggest issues we've had. Hell, even before I was born, people have always bullied people, and I think that's the biggest thing about A, the song, B, the anime. It all points towards to stand up for yourself. Even when you feel it's hopeless, you stand up for yourself. More than likely, you can get people to back down.
Yeah. You make it sound really kiddish when you put it that way, but
It is, but it's
at the same time, that anime is more Game of Thrones style than anything else.
hey, you like this character? Guess what? They're gonna die.
It's like, look, this is the main cast. Just kidding, they're all gone. Every single one of them. It's like, oh, well, I guess that's not where the story was going. I hope we have something next episode to explain what the fuck just happened.
Yeah,
They have a lot of good cliffhangers.
They do, and I honestly, there was quite a few cliffhangers, and it's like, okay, that was a good cliffhanger. That was a good cliffhanger. I liked how the series goes. It's just I can't get into it. I've watched the entire first season, but it's honestly, I'm like, it's not a show for me. I can't really get into it. I've read all of the mangas, and I'm like, the mangas are pretty good, but still, at the same time, I'm like, I'm about it. It's really dark in your room. That's kind of creepy. How's it going, Freddy Fazbear?
Wouldn't that be great if I just had a mask out of nowhere? Scream into your ears since your headphones are on.
Oh god, I'd hate you for life.
Real life, baby.
So, and the last one we're going to talk about tonight is one of the first Persona games that really kind of hit the heart. And that's Persona 3's
Shinijiro's death.
Yeah, I can't even say it right now.
I'm really good at Japanese.
Thanks.
Even though I don't know any of it. I'm good at pronunciation of languages. It's probably a plus.
This is probably one like the biggest points in the series, especially for the game. Especially with spoilers. If you've never played Persona 3, close your ears, because this is a big thing. This happens right after you finally get all the characters, and you actually have had Shinijiro for 2 dungeons now, and it's the end of that second dungeon, and you're like, okay, blah blah, and you start getting your team, and you plan him to be in there, and at this certain point, one of the characters, because he kind of killed one of the character's parents by accident, completely by accident, calls him out. And they go into an alley, and they get into a huge argument, and the kid tries to fight him, but doesn't actually really fight him, just kind of draws his weapon, is kind of like ready to fight. And one of the main antagonists for the game kind of crashes the party.
Looks like a necromancer.
He does.
Skinny ass mofo.
He does, but
Hey.
he uses personas as well. But he approaches the 2 characters and just kind of, hey, blah blah, this and that, and really kind of pushes the buttons of both characters until he pulls out a gun and goes, well, who do you want? Here's the thing. We know you have someone that can sense where we are. Who is it? Tell me, or I'm going to just kill you both. And as he gets ready to pull the trigger, Shinijiro moves in front of the first bullet.
After already being shot.
Well, the first bullet, he gets shot, and he's like, okay. Then moves in the way of the second bullet to stop him from killing the kid. And the entire scene is, there's no music going on for that first part. You're like, okay, blah blah. And once he goes in,
music going on.
Once it gets to the cutscene.
No, not during the cutscene. The music. I didn't notice it at first. There was music playing while they were talking. While he was like, oh, blah, 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 we know one of you guys. Before he even shoots him the first time, while they're talking on the screen, there was music playing. I go back, because I didn't realize there was any music. I watched the whole video, didn't see any music. Like, I didn't hear it at all. I was like, what the hell? And I went back, and then I noticed it was playing there the whole time. Which brings me back to what you said at the beginning of the video. There's a lot of background music that isn't really... It's not supposed to be noticed, but it's there for effect. Because when I was reading it, I was actually really interested in the story. I felt like I wanted to play the game just based upon reading what I did. And I had no idea what was going on. And I think the music added to that, but it was more subconsciously than me actively listening to it. Because when I listened to it, I was like, I didn't know I was there.
Which makes me have to go through there and listen to that again, because it probably is there. I have no doubt about it. But it's the entire thing of, it's a subtle music to you get to the cutscene and you get that music, you get that sense of you get that sense of despair and the hopelessness, because you're realizing, well, shit, is he can't survive this. There's no way this guy can survive this. And for people who played the game who didn't know that was coming, go, shit, I just made my party composition around him. God fucking damn it. And fucking throwing a table.
Yeah, there's a lot of games. I mean, as we mentioned in the beginning, the Final Fantasy VII's already being remade, but there's a lot of games that were epic storyline-wise that had shitty graphics. Well, you were into it back in the day, now you look at it, you're kind of disappointed, but you still have nostalgia. There's a lot of those that they need to remake.
There is. And honestly, don't expect to ever see a Persona remake for any of them. Like, they'll do the Persona 3 Fez Portable, which was for the PSP. They have Persona 4 Golden. But I'm kind of happy with them being just that. They're just ports to another system, just so we have them there. We can continue to play them, but that's it. Am I happy about like the Final Fantasy VII remake? Yeah, I can't wait for it. Is it going to be as good as Final Fantasy VII and how I remembered it as a kid? Probably not. No way is it going to ever be that good. I mean, it's kind of like when I look back at 11 and 11 being in its last little bit, I'm sitting there going, wow, I remember playing that when it came to America, and I loved it. And then I sat there and I started thinking about it. I'm like, oh my god, I hate every minute of playing that game. Why did I continue playing it? And going, oh, well, yeah, it's because of the people and because of the music and because everything was there for me, not because of anything else.
It's like when I watch... I know it's this simple. It's like when I watched a YouTube video back in, like, I don't know, 9th grade. And I remember how funny it is, and I will show it to a friend later on. Like, if I showed it to him next week, I'm like, wow, I was fucking stupid, man. This isn't that funny at all. Like, you always remember it better because it was better back then when you were that age, when you were in that past. But when you play them later on, it's just... it's not the same.
Oh, no, it's not. Well, and it also comes down to, was the nostalgia always is one of the strongest components with games. I mean, you go back, like, I'll go back and play a Nintendo game. That shows how old I am. I'll go back and play a Nintendo game, and I'm like, god damn, how did I ever beat this game? And it's one of those same things of, when you're a kid, you had more time to devote. We're adults now. We don't have the time to devote, and games nowadays show that. We want interesting music, good storylines, but we don't want to do a lot for it. Yeah, and watch out, Dr. Toucan can't post links. Sorry about that. But yeah, like I said, Persona 3 Shinjiro's death is kind of one of those. You understand the weight of it, and it's kind of sad that the first one we talk about, the second one we talk about, are both deaths. And what it is this reason being is because of the severity of them. You look at everything. Final Fantasy VII's death, Ursa's death, doesn't hold up as well as Jiro's death in Persona 3. It really doesn't. You understand, you know that character, he's in there from the start, but he's not always there where Aerith is. And I'm going to jump between. Yeah, I don't know why Dr. Toucan, it deletes all your posts. I gotta look at Nightbot real quick, why it does that. I will kind of look at that real quick. But again, it's really just how the how the music works with those scenes and how severe it really is with those scenes and how it works. God damn, Nightbot, why do you have to be so freaking annoying? I don't know why it completely. Let me pull that up real quick. Alright, yeah, let me go ahead and post that real quick for you. There you go. Posted it for you there, Dr. Toucan. But yeah, it's one of those things that you always will have this sense of, with songs and video games, you'll always have a sense of feelings towards characters, and you just have to know how to do it. And really, yeah, some of those, I would love to hear that song in the game. I'll be honest, Dr. Toucan, I would love to hear that song in the game. I almost wish it was in like Lollipop Chainsaw almost, but whatever. You have a lot to do with it, and there's a lot going on with it. Let me just take a quick look. All right, guys. So that is actually going to be it for the episode today. We will be, of course, we'll be coming back in about 2 weeks. We won't have an episode next week. It could really fit in, Dr. Toucan. It could really fit into a Final Fantasy game. But alright, so we will not be in next week. I'll actually wait till Daku comes back here real quick. And he's talking like a weird raptor thing.
I'm not.
Anyways, as I was saying, we're going to go ahead and end the show here.
Did you break?
I did not break. I don't know what's going on your end. It's back here real quick. Yeah, see, I didn't break. Like a weird raptor thing.
I'm not.
Anyways, yeah, I can. As always. Yeah, that was weird. Anyways.
Chase, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Now I can.
How did me hitting mute on my headset
I was confused.
affect
I
my
went to
mic?
see the stream, and the stream is still going.
Alright, anyways, guys. So, we will not be on next week because I will be going to a convention. If you're in the Denver area, come meet up with me at NondesCon, Denver's premier Denver's premier anime convention. We will be going, me and my fiance will be going up there next weekend. So hopefully you guys, if you're in the Denver area, come swing by. I'm just going to be up there hanging out, talking to people, doing all my fun stuff, as always. Alright, so for sign-offs, as always, I am your host, Chase, the new, or Kitsuragi, however you want to say it, Tubac, and of course, right next to me is Richard Daku Cox. Again, say prayers to Kumori. He's laptop because it is down, and hopefully we will have Kumori up in about 2 weeks. Of course, hopefully we will have our guest here soon. I will be playing that one out here soon. Anyways, hopefully you guys all enjoyed, and I need to stop closing that window for some odd fucking reason. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed. Thank you for coming by, and we will see you next week. And we'll see you guys next week, and take care.